Hello, welcome. I'm with Ryan Robinson, and I'm interviewing him because he's just been through the Logical Thinking Process online course, the video courses and the coaching by Bill Dettmer and Thorsteinn Siglaugsson. I wanted to, get his feedback and see what he thought about it.
My name is Ryan Robinson. I am a project manager slash scrum master in a unique type of healthcare nonprofit organization.
And so you've just completed the Logical Thinking Process online course. Before going into your experience, can you tell me, what led you to that? So the logical thinking process is part of the theory of constraints. Where did that journey begin, the theory of constraints and/or logical thinking?
I think it started most likely where most people start when it comes to the logical thinking process, and it's with the goal, right? I listened to the goal, which really sparked my interest and enjoyment of operations and organizations and how to improve them and things like that. I listened to the goal, kind of changed my life, honestly. And then after that, I kept digging further into Goldrat's literature and talks. I remember at one point he had talked about teaching people to think the way that Jonah thinks in the goal. And I remember, raising my hand internally and saying, I want to do that. And so I dug further into, the thinking processes. I remember also reading The Choice, and there's a lot of the ideas that underlie the thinking processes, inherent simplicity, and these types of things that really drew me into the idea of thinking this way and how to think clearly, how to think well, and how to do it in especially a problem-solving capacity. I really have loved these ideas and wanted to get better, not just at knowing the content, but also my ability to do it and practice that.
Then you registered and you went through a course which has a mixture of videos and online coaching. Can you describe your experience about that?
I was interested in the videos, obviously, just knowing that we always learn further and more when we care about thinking. And so I assumed that Bill's communication of these ideas would even be different than maybe it was in the book via the videos, and that he would present things differently in that medium. And so I was very interested in the video presentation of it, and it being kind of more condensed in one sense when you go through it than, a 40-page chapter. I very much enjoyed the video content of the course along with the reading that parallels with it.
What was your favorite part of what you learned? Do you have a favorite tree?
Yeah, I think that, that's hard. One that really surprised me was the intermediate objectives tree. It's not one that people emphasize, it seems to me, as much in the literature. You see a lot about the current reality tree. Bill rightly emphasizes the goal tree. You get the evaporating cloud a lot, but there was something about doing the exercises within the intermediate objectives tree that was just so practical. I mean, that really has been very impactful for me in my thinking.
The intermediate objectives map and or the goal tree was mind-blowing for you. I don't know, it sounds as if it impressed you. What did you find the most challenging or difficult part of the process?
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. As far as just the tree, it's current reality tree.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Very, very challenging, but in such a good way. If you like to sharpen your critical thinking, your ability to think logically, and that's especially emphasized with Bill's approach, I think. That is very challenging at first because at least I was not used to thinking that way. And yeah, the current reality tree, without a doubt, was the most challenging.
You mentioned a bit the videos compared to Bill's writing. Most people call the big green book, right? Which I keep saying has 700 pages, but Bill says no, it's only 360 or something. Anyway, it's maybe the density of the pages that is impressive.
Right.
So,
right.
What about the online coaching sessions? How did that go?
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but without a doubt, the coaching was my favorite part. It was honestly an incredible experience for me. I mean, really, Bill was so available Both coaches were. It was incredible for me to be able to, experience an actual caring. I came in with the expectations that they essentially would be timing every single thing that we were doing. But they were certainly not doing that. They were very, very available. It was just so obvious that they wanted to help me get good at this. The coaching was, without a doubt, my favorite aspect. It was challenging. They helped me to be focused on what was most fundamental at first and then work out to the peripheral. And that's such a hard thing to do as a novice.
I'm glad you liked it. And as you say, Bill and Thorsteinn put their heart in it, then they're really preoccupied with the result, right? It's not just the minutes going past. They're really trying to get people to learn the stuff and use it, right? The coaching is because you're applying it to a problem. What was your problem that you brought to the course?
I focused on my career, actually. I want to, and at that time wanted to have a fulfilling, meaningful, effective career. I didn't feel like I knew exactly how to go about doing that. And I wanted to start with something that I could get my hands around a little bit more, that I had control over. And so it felt very right for me to focus in on something that was emotionally compelling, something that I cared about, and that I had the ability to actually do something about too. That was an incredible experience to go through the goal tree, to think through it carefully with their help and their scrutinization of my thinking, which was very, very helpful. And yeah, that's what I focused in on.
For those watching this video who don't know exactly what the logical thinking process does, why is asking oneself the question, what is my goal, when one's thinking about one's career? What happens when you do that? What did you discover when applying the LTP or logical thinking process to your career in the various steps? The goal, for instance, did you rediscover what your goal was?
When I did the goal tree, it helps to ask regarding a system. And so the system in this case is me and my life. What is the outcome that you desire and you want for that system? It helped me to get very specific and yet succinct. And to do that requires a lot of careful thought. When we went from just the goal, I had to focus on the critical success factors. And once you get that, it really benchmarks the rest of the process, where you can actually see, okay, what is the current problem related to the goal of me in my career? And then once we were able to, generate some of via brainstorming and figure things out, I was able to go deeper into, okay, what can we do about this, and with the future reality tree and whatnot. So it was pretty incredible experience. And wow, the clarity and the surfacing of wrong thinking, even about myself, was such an enlightening experience.
You sound very excited by what you've done. That's really nice to hear. Since then, what has changed in your life or in your career since that was the subject? Have you taken new decisions, or what are you doing differently?
This is pretty personal, actually, and I have no problem sharing it. One of the things that I realized was how impatient I was being in my career as I did the current reality tree, and I looked at the goals of what I wanted. I didn't realize that some of the root causes, or when we went deeper into the current reality tree, that really it was some impatience that I had with the process of developing skills and learning about how to become really great at my job in order to bless others and help the world be a better place. I had to be patient with myself and others because it's a process. And so honestly, that's one of the biggest things that I learned in the process. It was humbling, but it was very insightful.
Having been through the course now, can you tell me who you think would benefit from following this course?
This is quite the question, because my answer is like everybody. I really do mean that. I mean, it's like, you almost want there to be specific, but my wife is at home with our kids and we do homeschooling. There's a goal for our homeschooling system, and there's problems that emerge and come up, and the ability to understand the goal and to be able to dive into the current reality. These things are applicable everywhere because really it's a problem solving process, and there's constant problems to be solved. Of course, one of the biggest areas is people at the helm of organizations. So My wife's at the helm of our homeschooling system. I think of anyone who's at the very top with the most authority, who's thinking strategically, having to solve these systemic problems in organizations. That would be one of the most ideal people, because it does require the ability to act, to see the problems and to do something about them. Usually the people that are at the top, a CEO, people in a C-suite, it would be an incredibly beneficial skill for them. But of course, anyone in management, anyone who cares about becoming really good at solving problems, it's for them.
Thank you very much. Ryan Robinson's comments after having followed the Logical Thinking Process online course, which is a video on demand course with additional coaching, if you so wish, by Bill Dettmer and Thorsteinn Siglaugsson. And that's the result. You saw it in his eyes. He seems to have enjoyed it a bit. Thank you very much for taking the time to give us your feedback. I wish you all the best in your future use of the logical thinking process. Thank you.
Thank you.